miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Welcome back to the Long Island Blues Warehouse, everybody. Mark Klein hanging out with you. Every week on this stage, we bring you a new band to bring you some of the finest musicians in our part of the world doing what they love to do. No exception to the rule tonight. Tonight, we're talking to a group of musicians from not Long Island, upstate New York a little bit, around the New York City area, New Jersey, Northern Jersey, Central Jersey. A band that's been together for 6 years doing what they love to do, working hard, doing a kick-ass job in this genre of music. And I'm excited to bring them to the stage and share with you tonight what they're all about. I'm going to ask you to enjoy this week's featured artist, Livin' the Blues Band.
Way to leave, I won't be back no more. I'm going way back south, child. Don't you wanna go when I'm troubled? I'll be always mine. Honey, I ain't never been satisfied, and I just can't help but cry. But I feel like snapping a pistol in your face. Make some graveyard lord be your resting place when I'm troubled. I'll be over mine. I ain't never been satisfied. I just can't help but cry. Sleep, I hear my doorbell ring. Looking for my baby, I didn't see a doggone thing. I'm troubled. I've been over mine. Hey! Now I ain't never been satisfied, and I just can't help but cry.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Livin' the Blues Band. Nick, this band's been together for 6 years, as I mentioned earlier.
Right on.
Let's talk about some history with you. Let's talk about when you began musically. Were you a young guy? Were you a little guy?
I was.
How old when you started singing the crowds?
I sang my first song. My parents told me that they had a Christmas party in L.A. when I was 3 years old, and they said that I made everybody shut up, turned off the music so I could sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That was my first performance.
You grabbed audience's heart at age 3, huh?
Yeah, well, I don't know. They said I wouldn't let anybody talk while I sang. And so they said they knew at that point that I was going to be a singer.
Did you know at that point?
I just knew that I loved music. I mean, I love music, everything about it. I mean, I play instruments as well. In this band, I sing and play a little harmonica. But I was born and raised on the Beatles, and then I think I remember when I first learned to play bass, my dad, who was a musician as well, taught me a blues song, Kansas City.
Going to Kansas City.
Kansas City, here I come.
Very cool.
One of the
man.
first songs I ever learned in my life. Yeah.
And when did you first sing that in front of a crowd?
I started off playing bass in a blues band called the Crawdaddy Blues Band, and one day the singer didn't show up, and so I said I could sing, and so I sang, and that would have been the first night that I sang in front of a crowd.
What age?
I was like 22, 23,
Okay,
something like
okay.
that, yeah.
A few short years ago, I'm guessing.
Yes, only a couple.
Makes sense. Makes sense with that baby face you got going on over there. Well done, my man. Kick-ass job. Kick-ass job. As I said, that's what we call coming out of the gate strong. How did you hook up with Hat Moore in the Livin the Blues project?
You know, it was one of those really lucky things. I happened to fill in, actually on bass, for another local band that's from where we are in Bergen County, where I am actually. And good old Tom was on the drums, also filling in. So we were both filling in, just the rhythm section, and we hit it off right away. And at the end of the night, they sort of ran out of tunes. And at the end of the night, they looked at me and said, "You got any songs?" And I sang like 3 blues songs at the end of the night. And Tom looks at me and goes, "We need a singer. You ought to audition for our band." And that was that.
That's how it all began with this project. Very cool, my man.
Yeah.
Great beginning for you. Nick Rail, vocals, and soon harp a little bit. You're going to lend to this project.
Just a little.
Looking forward to it. Well done, my man. Hat Moore? Yes, how you doing, my man?
Doing great, Mark.
I met you a few months ago at BB King's for the New York Blues Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yes.
You jumped up on stage, played a few.
I did.
I enjoyed what I saw.
And
Here we are.
I enjoyed being there so much. And the thing is, you and I shared that life moment together since you also were inducted that day.
Yes, I was. And it was great talking to you backstage and a little bit on stage and on the side of the stage and I think in front of the stage. We had a couple of chats, you and me,
Don't
that
mention
night.
under the stage.
I'm going to stay. I didn't want to bring that up, but
This
now
is
we're
a
gonna,
G program.
Now we're going to keep them guessing.
Okay.
But it was great meeting you. I really enjoy what you do. The song you just played, by the way, my understanding is some real cool DJ on some real cool radio show just played the other day.
Yes, it.
That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it too. It was
You-
on
you
the
enjoyed
Premier
that?
Blues station, by the way.
Some of the audience, my understanding is, enjoyed that as well.
Yes, WUSB.
WUSB,
Yes.
my Friday morning show.
Not the other way around.
WUSB.FM,
Yes.
Fridays 8 to 10. And you guys are in my rotation, and that song you just played was well received.
Thank you.
I say we get into another one.
Sounds good.
What are we doing next?
It's a song I wrote with Blues Hall of Famer Mr. Jack Bernice. It's entitled "Can't Lose the Blues."
You good to go?
We're good to go.
Once again on the Long Island Blues Warehouse, we are going to keep it moving with Livin the Blues Band.
I had a funny feeling when I woke up today that I would get a chance to chase the blues away. I opened up the paper, my number didn't win. Crime rate in the city going up again. It seems like unemployment at an all-time high. It's getting tougher as the time goes by. I can't lose, I never lose. I never lose them blues. No, I can't lose. I never lose. I never lose them blues. Yeah. I pulled on Stevie Ray and it blew me away. Crenshaw, me and I friend told me couldn't take it no more. You know the blues is knocking at his door. Open the door, ain't no fuss. I gave him the best of him, old is rush. I don't know, but I've been told when all dumps on the border cold, I will lose. I never lose. I never lose them blues. But Lord, I never lose. I never lose. I never lose them blues. No, I can't tell you I wanna lose. I never lose. Never lose them blues. Lord, I can't lose. Never lose. Never lose them blues.
Hi, this is Donna from Ridgewood, New Jersey, and you're listening to the Long Island Blues Warehouse.
This week's featured artist, Livin, the Blues Band. Got a few degrees hotter in here since that last one. Well done, gentlemen. Let me grab Hap Moore, lead vocal, or lead guitar, if I can. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good.
You looks like you dropped a pound or two since that one.
I got to come here to work out.
You sweating a little
will be
bit?
fun.
I'm sweating just on the sidelines, man.
Oh, man.
Put you guys to work. That's the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
Well done, man. Well
Thank you,
done.
sir. Thank you.
This project, as I mentioned earlier, has been around for about 6 years. You with the guys on the stage right now?
Correct.
Let's talk about some history with you, Hatmore. Let's talk about when you began musically. When did you pick up a guitar for the first time and decide this is a direction you were going to head in life?
3 years old.
At age 3?
Yes. Fortunately, I had an older brother. His name is Tim.
Okay.
He was heavily into rock and blues. And at age 7, he took me to my first concert, which was a new blues guy at the time named Johnny Winter.
Johnny who?
Johnny Winter. Not Winters, boys and girls. Winter.
Johnny Winter.
Yes.
Very
Johnny
cool.
Winter.
Very cool.
And
Now, what age are you checking him out?
I'm 7 years old, checking out Johnny Winter.
Okay.
Sitting in the Capitol Theater in Passaic, New Jersey.
Did you get it?
From that concert, I knew that's all I wanted to do the rest of my life.
So you got the passion early. You got the bug early.
I did. And actually, it was the Beatles at 3, and that's why I picked up my first guitar at age 3. And my brother also played guitar, and he was heavily into slide, so it kind of just all rubbed off on me.
He taught you?
No, he didn't. He basically, here's the guitar, teach yourself. But yeah. And then later on, I actually did teach myself. I had some bad teachers at the age of 12. And then at age 16, I got my first good teacher named Mike Carlucci. He later formed a great band called Winter Hours. And he goes, you're into the blues? He goes, you have to check out this album. And he gave me John Mayall's Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton. And that just completely blew me away. That's
Great education.
Oh, my God. I got
Great
into Freddie
education.
King. I got into Eric. And then after that, my first band in high school, I was still in high school playing CBGBs in a punk band called the Senile Delinquents.
You went through that phase in life.
I think we all did at some point. We used to play CBGBs, and they used to throw batteries at us, and that's when they liked us.
I'm sorry, did you say batteries?
Batteries.
And that was the indication that they liked you?
Yes, it was.
And what were they throwing at bands that they didn't like?
You don't want to know. They haven't found most of those bands yet.
What size battery?
You're lucky that it wasn't D's. They were out mostly down the store. You know, if they had the single A's, you were fine. That just leaves a little mark. You actually got good dodging.
CBGBs, huh?
Good old CBGBs down the Bowery.
What year are we looking at? What time frame?
That's around 1980. Right in 1980, yeah. I was a senior in high school.
No kidding.
And I did right from there. And from there, right out of high school, I went around the club scene. I founded a band called Ragin' River, and we played blues and blues rock for X amount of years. And then I played the clubs every year until I was 30 years old, and at that point, I just said I had enough. The club scene had changed. It was really the hair metal days, and I wanted to be a blues guy, and it was hard to find
You
work.
grew up a little bit.
I did.
You changed your taste in music. You got a little more mature.
Yes, I did.
Some guys get mature quicker than others.
Yep. So I went home and basically woodshedded for about 8 or 9 years, and that's when I got into the older guys. I discovered the Delta, the Sun House, and Buka White.
Sure.
And then at a Chance Blues Jam around 1999, I met a man named Mike Santos. And we started talking. We had Peter Green in common. We both loved Peter Green. I was like, did you hear his new record, Hotfoot Blues? Hotfoot Powder, I'm sorry. And he goes, I love it. And I said, you want to try doing some of that? And he said, yeah. So we did a duo for a couple of years. And that changed me also, because it was just me and him. I had my National guitar, and naturally I use a thumb pick here. So I had to change my aspect of how I played. And that actually matured me a little bit more as a musician. And from there, out of the blue once, around 2006, I got a phone call from the Lone Wolf Blues Venom band asking me would you like to come in for a while? That lasted 6 months, and in 6 months, I think I quit 8 times, the band.
Let me guess, little differences of opinion from time to time.
It was a tad. It was interesting working together, especially in the middle of the club when fights would break out.
But you kept going back.
I did. He would always come. He'd go, come on, you don't want to quit. Come on back. We're gonna do this. But then I quit.
Well,
again.
what made you 8 times of quitting later say enough is enough? Or what changed the 8th time?
The 8th time, we had a tremendous drummer at the time, and I went on vacation. And when I came back, he goes, "Jerry's gone." I go, "Why is Jerry gone?" He goes, "I fired him." I was like, "Why did you fire him?" He says, "He didn't want to rehearse on Sunday." I said, "Mike, we don't rehearse on Sundays." And he's like, "Well, what if we did?" He wouldn't be in, so I fired him, and that was it. I said, "You fired Jerry, I'm gone." So that was it. I was out the door that was the final time I did that.
Good story. Tell it again.
Yeah.
All right, Hatmore. Well, I'll tell you what, great beginning for you, my man, and some interesting history. Local guy, that when I say local, the New York, Jersey, the tri-state area, just more great local guys in our part of the world. And I love what you guys are about. I love what your singer's about. He lends a great dynamic to this thing. He reminds me of somebody, and I haven't put my finger on it yet as to who.
Do you owe money or?
I'm going to figure it out, though. I'm going to definitely figure it out. I don't know. He just has such a unique thing with his vocal. Yet he reminds me of somebody that performs in maybe not blues necessarily. Slash, the old guitar player. Slash has a band today with a singer that sounds a lot like Nick.
Okay.
It's all good.
Google it. Check it out. I mean, if Slash's singer went into a blues rock thing, it would be Nick Rail, I think. But you check it out because the guy sounds a lot like Nick, or should I say Nick sounds a lot like this guy. Potato, potato. Let's do another one.
Sounds good.
What are we doing next?
It's a song that Nick wrote. Good segue there.
You write as well, Nick.
He did.
Oh yeah. I've been writing songs for a long time. This is a great a song that's a favorite of people that follow my music, and it's about a car. It's about an '81 Ford Granada.
Did you ever own that car, by the way?
Oh yeah.
You had an '81 Ford Granada?
I got to tell you that I've had about 35 cars, and that was one of them. And it was about the ugliest goddamn car you ever saw. It was brown. This is when they used to make brown cars.
Brown, ugly car.
Yeah. And after that car took me to about 500 gigs over the course of 5 years, I missed it when it was gone, and so I wrote this song about it. Every word of this song is true, by the way.
All right.
So
well,
listen up.
I say we do it. Once again on the Long Island Blues Warehouse, we are going to keep it moving with our featured artist, Livin the Blues Band.
About a car that loves to go. Here we go. Drive, need my car to survive. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but my Chevy just died. I got me a 4-door Ford. It cost me 5 bills since that day. That car's been giving me thrills. She's my squared off straight 6 luxury edition. She's my no quitting, fleet bitten runner on a mission. I seen her come and I seen her go. Everybody wants a new car, but I don't know. I love my 81 Ford Granada, 81 Ford Granada. Accelerating slow. She's my 81 Ford Granada, and she loves to go to the bridge, y'all. Yeah, we're riding low, riding slow, turning heads as we go. You got to roll down the window when you get in my ride. So to give me some room, she's my rolling gas chamber, rolling gas chamber. If the vodka and the blues, she's my 81 Ford Granada, and she paid some dues. Oh yeah. She my shit brown, low down, never catch me broke down. AAA gold has got me homeward bound. Cold vinyl seats, praying for some heat. I got all my gear packed in the back seat, but it's 3 a.m. and I'm falling asleep. So I pull over and I sit back and I put up my feet. I'm in my 81 Ford Granada. She loves to go beep, 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 yeah.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Livin the Blues Band. Nick Rail. You wrote that one, huh?
Yeah, it's my car.
I got to tell you, man, I really enjoyed the hell out of that. Very cool. Very cool. Let me grab you. Let me talk to you again for a second about songwriting.
Sure.
Are you, it's different for everybody, and I get asked this question a lot by up-and-coming musicians, kids, early teens, late teens, early 20s, kids that watch these webisodes every week that enjoy what we do. A big question is, how do these musicians that take this stage every week come about writing songs? Are you one of those guys that can say on a Sunday, I'm going to sit down Wednesday after work and I'm going to write a couple of tunes? Or is it something that influences you during the day, or a dream you had at night, or you heard somebody say something at somewhere at a gig? How does it work for you?
Songwriting is the hardest freaking thing in the world, if you ask me. And I don't know how it's done. I really
It never
don't.
comes easy for you.
Never. Well, that's not true. Probably the best song I ever wrote, the song that people love the most that I've written personally, it's not a blues song. I think I wrote it in about 15 minutes. So I'm a firm believer that musicians and writers are, when they do their best work, they're really just sort of channeling something from someplace else. I find that the stuff that I have to work on and change, and it's usually not too good to begin with, if I'm doing it.
Do you ever take an idea that you're working on, run into a brick wall, put it on the shelf for a period of time, come back to it later?
I do, yeah. Sometimes I do. I mean, I'm not a very prolific writer. I write a couple songs a year. But if I finish it, it's usually pretty decent, And I'm just glad if I have something.
The song you just performed, a little better than pretty decent, in my opinion.
Well, thanks.
But then again, what the hell do I know?
But see, that was one of those great songs where, sometimes you have the problem, you're trying to figure out what you want to write about. You got all this passion, but you don't know what you want to say. And that was a song that, I won't say it wrote itself, but once I got the idea that I was going to write a song about that car,
it flowed pretty easily.
I just kept pecking away at it, and so many things happened in that car, and I had so many funny stories about that car that the song wrote itself. You know what I mean? In fact, me and my buddies, we all sat around because we had all spent so much time driving around in that car with guys in that band, and so they all kicked in some lyrics. They were just and it just came together and ended up. That was a different band, and we didn't even do blues, and there was this one blues song that we would do that we put together about this car, and it just. It's so funny because my old manager used to hate the song. He didn't like it because he didn't think it fit, and the people that came out to see us used to always ask for it. And so it stayed alive. And
just a feel-good, uplifting thing, keeping a foot on the path of blues, and it worked, man.
It was cool. I brought it to these guys, and I said, if you like it, we'll do it. And they all liked it, so I was like, all right.
Very
I
cool.
heard you play it live with this other band. I said, we got to do that just before you joined.
Some 6 years ago.
No, actually, that was a couple months ago.
Oh, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the new guy.
Oh, I keep forgetting. You're the new guy in the band.
The first time I sat down
The
with
baby in the band and the new guy.
He is. The first time we sat down together to write a song, in 10 minutes it was done. And we're going to do that song tonight.
That's true.
That should happen more often.
I gotta thank these guys for coming along because I've been in a little bit of a writing rut. Not really that I've been trying. I haven't written.
But isn't it great?
I got together with half.
Isn't it great when you cross paths with guys that just make sense?
There's nothing better for me than when you write a song and you know it's decent. I usually walk around for about 3 days just feeling very happy. People don't get it, but to me,
I get it, and many of my audience will as well, and I appreciate that. Nick Rail, vocals and harp. Well done, my man. Let's grab Mark Jacobs on the bass for a second, since he's standing right there in front of that mic. How you doing, Mark Jacobs?
I'm doing pretty well. How you doing?
You're a New York guy.
From Queens, Whitestone.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad a commute for you today.
No, I used
Some
to
of these
live
guys
in Queens.
that took 2 days to get here.
No, I live in
almost.
I live in Rockland now. Mark.
Okay.
But I lived in Queens.
Let's talk about the history, man. Holding down the bottom end real well. You began when?
Well, I guess I got my first taste of music at 5 when I bought Abbey Road from Woolworths. I was just hooked on that album.
You got it on sale, I hope.
$3.99.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Woolworths.
I was totally hooked from that point. And then, my brother was a big musician at the time, great guitar player, got me into it, and got me into The Who, was loving The Who, Entwistle. And by the time I was 15, I was locked in my room playing Who stuff. And then from that point on, I was hooked. That was it.
You were another one of those guys that would lock yourself in the room for hours and hours and just
doing
practice.
Good stuff, yeah. Watching, seeing, it was great because Pete Townsend wrote a book where he had all his chord charts and his fingerings, and I was just like, wow, I gotta learn this note for note, and that was it. I was loving it.
Very cool, man. Very cool. What were you doing before Livin the Blues Project?
I was doing things here and there. I took off for a while. I was playing in a bunch of club bands back in the late 70s, early 80s, doing the club scene out here. You know, Poets, Seamus's, those kind of places
Sure,
out in,
sure.
in Queens.
Places that haven't existed in decades. now.
Yes, sad to say. And, you know, took a while off and came back. You know, kids were a little older and decided to come back to it. And I'm loving this band.
And you've been with this project for how long now?
It'll be 5 years in April.
It's 5 years for you.
Yeah.
Very cool. Keep going strong, my man.
Thank you.
Great addition to this project. Mark Jacobs on the bass. I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's keep it moving, fellas. We'll come back and talk to the saxonator and the drummer a little bit later. What are we doing next, Hatmore?
A song by the man that invented electricity, Mr. Muddy Waters, one of my favorite songs
Muddy
of all time.
Waters.
I'm ready.
I think we are as well. So that having been said, Long Island Blues Warehouse, let's keep it moving. Livin, the Blues Band.
Well, I'm ready, ready, anybody can be. Well, I'm ready, ready, anybody can be. Well, I'm ready for you, I hope you're ready for me. I got an axe and a pistol on a graveyard frame. I'm shooting tombstone bullets with a ball and chain. I'm drinking TNT, I'm smoking dynamite. I hope some screwball start a fight, 'cause I'm ready, ready, anybody can be. I'm ready for you, I hope you're ready for me. All you pretty little chicks with curly hair, I know that you're thinking I ain't going nowhere. Well, you stop what you're doing, baby, come over here. Talk to you, baby, that ain't no square. I'm ready, ready, anybody can be. I'm ready for you, I hope you're ready for me. Are you ready? Before I'm down to bed, I want you to know. But one more drink, I wish you would. It takes a whole lot of loving to make me feel good. I'm ready, ready, anybody can be. But I'm ready for you, I hope you're ready for me. Yes, I'm ready for you, I hope you're ready for me.
Livin the Blues Band. Well done, Nick Rail. Well done, guys. What a kick-ass vocal on you, man. I really dig what you're about musically, man. You just, you dig down deep with, from your soul. You can just feel the blues oozing out of your ears with your vocal ability. And I don't know. I just call it like I see it, man. And you got it. What can I say?
I always say, man, I sing 100%.
You're giving 110. You're giving about 102% in here. About 102, 103% in here tonight.
Hey, I do this little solo acoustic thing on Monday nights, And I'm sitting there with my acoustic guitar, and I sing the same way.
Where are you doing that acoustic thing on Monday nights?
It's at the place called the 76 House in Tappan, New York.
Tappan. Where the hell is Tappan?
Tappan's on the other side of the river. It's in Rockland.
By Rockland.
Yeah, in fact, it's right on the border of Rockland and Bergen County. It's the oldest tavern in the country.
Is that a fact?
George Washington tipped a few there. And hung
Major
out there.
Andre was held prisoner there.
That's right.
Who was traded with Benedict Arnold.
I'm gonna have to challenge you on that.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's the real deal. I've been there for a couple of years, man. It's a great place.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
But on Monday nights, they have music there 7 nights a week. So if you're on the other side of the river and you want to stop by any night of the week, stop by the 76 House. They got some great music there. Blues on Tuesday.
It's hard to make the jams in New York City on Monday nights. Never mind heading over there.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I'd love
It
to.
only took me 3 hours to get here tonight.
Yeah, I know. It took you longer than that, I think. It took you longer than that. But it's good to have you on this stage, man.
Awesome.
And Nick, keep going strong, my man. Let's grab Ross Mazer, otherwise known as I can't believe I'm going to say this, the Saxonator. I told Hap that I was going to let him, throw that title in there tonight. But you know what? I'll use it. The Saxonator, the tenor sax, supporting those shades real well as that horn, and a great addition to this project, my man. Let's talk about the history. Let's talk about when you began.
Playing the saxophone, fourth grade band.
Fourth grade?
Yeah, just like most kids, they start out in the fourth grade. But to be honest with you, like I look back, until 10th or 11th grade, it was just something I did. You know what I mean? Like it was, like he plays soccer and a saxophone and band. In 10th grade, my teacher said, come here, let me tell you about something called jazz, improvisation, and it all starts out with the blues. And so he drew out 12-bar blues progression, and he says, it doesn't mean anything if you don't listen to it.
Were you
Right?
receptive
And
to
do
that
it.
at
Well,
that age?
I went right out and I bought a couple albums. I bought some swing tenor saxophone albums, Ben Webster, Lester Young, that kind of stuff.
At what age?
10th grade, 10th or 11th grade. So that was, whatever that is, 15, 16.
Okay, sure.
And then he said blues. So I'm like, all right, let's start listening to blues. So I went and I bought some Muddy Waters. So
You jumped right into Muddy.
yeah. So I had always had both of those, as the saxophone
How'd you
player.
know about Muddy at age 15?
I have no idea. It's just, I've always been drawn to the blues, and, when he said, the blues is the foundation of jazz, I thought if it's so important, let me listen to that as well. So as I played the saxophone and I developed on the saxophone, I listened to the greats of the saxophone, the jazz players, Charlie Parker, Lester Young, John Coltrane, Dexter Gordon, all of those guys. But at the same time, I was also listening to Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Albert King. So when I had the opportunity to join the Livin the Blues band, it's just fantastic. It's something I've always wanted to do.
Very cool, man. What were you doing before this project musically?
I had been playing immediately before. I'd been playing in a bunch of different wedding bands, event bands. I'd played in an oldies band, some rock cover bands, that kind of thing. Before that, mostly jazz. Like I'd almost been like a jazz purist kind of person, and then I played pretty much rock for a few years, which turned me completely inside out. And now that I'm back in the blues, like I said, it's something of a lifelong ambition. It's great. I'm really enjoying it.
I'll tell you what, man. I could count on one hand some of my top favorites. I mean, you got Arno Heck from the Arno. You know Arno Heck, New York City guy, plays at the jams a lot. The Uptown Horns. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got Richie Cannata from Billy Joel, of course,
right.
and you got the Saxonator over here. Great addition to this project, man. I really like the dynamic you add to this thing. So,
Thanks.
Well done, my man. Well done.
He was the only member of the band who didn't audition. He just showed up.
He just showed up.
He really did. He just showed up. We were doing a gig in New York.
Was it the shades or was it his actual ability to play?
Mark just said, I'm going to bring a saxophone player down to a gig. Do you mind if he plays 2 songs? So I said, all right, let him come down. So he did his 2 songs, and he sits down at the table next to me. I said, what are you doing? He goes,
Get back up here.
I said, get back up here.
Get back up.
And
Where are
that was
you
it.
going?
And he's never left since.
Very cool. And how long ago was that, Hatmore?
About a year and a half ago.
About a year.
That's it?
Yeah, that was about it.
All right. Well, I look forward to many more years of you with this project, man.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for
Well
having us
done.
here.
Ross
This is-
Mazer on the tenor sax. Well done. We're going to come back and talk to the drummer shortly. Let's keep it moving, boys. What are we doing next?
It's another Muddy song called Feels So Good.
You good to go?
Good to go.
Long Island Blues Warehouse. This is Livin the Blues Band.
that she don't feel. You know, I feel so good. I feel so good. Yes, I feel so good. Feel like ball and a jazz. Well, I've gone down the station just to meet a train. My baby coming home. I know she got that aim. You know, I feel so good. I feel so good. Yes, I feel so good. Feel like a ball and a jazz. Oh, I feel so good. No, I always will. I feel like a jack out of the jet. Well beyond the hill, you know, I feel so good. I feel so good. Yes, I feel so good. I feel like ball and a jam. Come on, boys, come on. On the hill, you know, I feel so good. Yes, I feel so good. Well, I feel so good. I feel like ball and a jazz. Oh, I feel so good. Feel like ball and a jazz. Well, I feel so good. Feel like a ball and a jazz.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Livin, the Blues Band. Well done, gentlemen, as always. On the drum kit, let's grab Tom Nagel, if he'll pull that mic in front of him. How you doing, Tom Nagel?
Doing well, Mark.
Originally from the West Coast.
Yes.
How long you been living on the East Coast?
I moved here in '95.
What took so long?
Yeah.
Let's talk about when you began. Let's talk about when you were a young lad.
Sure.
When did you first jump behind a kit and decide this is something you were going to do in life?
When I was 13, my brother was a drummer, and he decided he wanted to move on to bass, and he wanted somebody to practice with. And so I sat down on the drums, and within a month, we started a band.
And the rest is history, huh?
Yeah, been playing ever
Are you
since.
self-taught?
Yes.
No kidding. No
Yeah,
kidding.
can you tell?
Not really. But what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy with a microphone, man. No, I'm kidding. Excellent. Well done, man. Well done. Let's talk about things you were doing musically before you headed out to the East Coast. Were you involved in some music projects?
Sure. I was doing rock cover bands and original bands in Northern California. And then I lived in Southern California for 5 years, and I was in like a surf band, and then I was in Sacramento.
A surf band, huh?
Yeah, and when I was in Sacramento, that was the first time I was in a blues band. It was called Fistful of Blues, and it was some really good musicians, and I was hooked then. It was great. And after moving to the East Coast, I've been playing in rock bands and really wanted to get into.
What made you move out to the East Coast?
My My ex.
Your ex?
My ex wanted to live on the East Coast. She was an East Coast girl. And,
Okay.
And so here I am.
And you got involved in some musicians and some music projects out on the East Coast right away?
No, it took about 3 years, and then I started playing with a group of guys, and played for about 10 years in rock cover bands, and then was looking through Craigslist and saw this opportunity to get into a blues band and auditioned, and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself.
Being at the right place at the right time, I guess. Timing is everything. Well, I'll tell you what, my man. I enjoy the dynamic you add to this project. Get a nice feel behind the kit.
Thanks, Mike.
And keep going strong, my man. I appreciate it. Tom Nagel on the drum kit. We thank you, sir.
Thanks, bud.
Hatmore? Yes, sir. Let me see. 53. I think we got time for 2 more.
2 more.
I
That's
think we
awesome.
got time to squeeze in 2 more.
I like that.
Let's do our next tune, and then we'll do our goodbyes, and then you boys will play us out. What are we doing next?
By the late, great Alvin Lee from 10 Years After. Woke up this morning.
Let's do it. Long Island Blues Warehouse, Livin the Blues Band.
I woke up this morning, my baby was gone.
Oh, yeah. Well done, gentlemen. Well done, as always. Hey, Hatmore, where can people go online to follow this project?
That's Facebook.
Facebook.
Livin the Blues Band. Livin, kids. Leave out the G.
Livin the Blues Band.
Yes.
When are you going to have livinthebluesband.com?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Do me a favor.
Soon.
Look into that, will you?
We will.
I want to livinthebluesband.com, .org, .something website soon.
Got it.
Because you need one.
I know.
Facebook's cool,
I know.
but let's get a Live in the Blues Band real website because you can put videos up and some pictures and all the dates. And you guys need that, man.
We're getting there. We just got out of cassette tapes, this band, so.
I appreciate that.
We're improving.
All right.
8 tracks were like 2 years ago. So
2 years
we're getting
ago?
there. Faster pace.
I appreciate that. On lead guitar, we got to thank Mr. Hatmore. Thank you so much, Hap. Back there on the drum kit, let's thank Mr. Tom Nagel. Thank you, Tom Nagel. Let's see in the back left, we got on the bass, Mr. Mark Jacobs. Thank you, Mark. On the saxonator, tenor sax, Mr. Ross Mazer. Thank you so much, Ross. Kick-ass job, my man. Lead vocals and a tiny, tiny little bit of harp, Mr. Nick Rail. Thank you so much, Nick. Nick, we could have used a little more harp on this thing tonight. I don't know, man.
I'm still learning the harp.
Oh, you're still okay. All right. Well, not too bad, my man. Not too bad.
We're not doing any of the songs that feature my harp on.
But all right. Well,
this
you're,
gig.
you're early in your career. I'm sure that's going to come later, and I'm looking forward to it. Live in the Blues Band. Well done, guys. You guys are going to play us out. Before you do, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You can always go to liblues.com to check out all these great webisodes that we do. Remember to check out EKO Studios at ekoproductions.com. Remember, they are the official studio of the Long Island Blues Warehouse. And you can always check me out on Friday mornings from 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time in the AM at WUSB.FM or right here on Long Island at 90.1 FM doing my Long Island Blues local show. So that's the story on that. Hatmore, what are we finishing up with?
This is the 10-minute song I wrote with Nick.
10-minute song?
It's the title track for our upcoming
You're going to
CD.
squeeze it into 5 minutes, yes?
Yeah, this is when this band really came together. This is our first song that we wrote together as a band.
Cool.
Here it
'Cause
is.
now we got 4
We're
minutes.
debuting it now.
Now we got 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
Bound for Fire.
Give or take. One more time, and I thank you so much, Hatmore, and Livin' the Blues Band.